Hey everybody, it's Billy at Be Tough, man. We're down here at Galey's Marine, man. We're here with Steve, right? Always showing us the cool boards and the boats and stuff. And today we're gonna look at some of the 2022 lineup. And man, there's a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of good innovation this year, I think, that's coming out, right? Materials?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and the guys at Ronex, they never slow down. They're always looking for the next greatest thing. And the new M50 Carbon Pro, that's definitely it as far as their lineup goes. Just a really cool board designed to be a hybrid, you know, so a lot of skim characteristics as far as really thin board with a really hard rail on it, but we do have the ability to run some bigger surf fins and get a nice surf style board out of it as well. So
you know what the picture doesn't show on here is how light this thing is. I will bet, like I have a hammerhead, and if you've driven a hammerhead, they're pretty light. This is lighter. I would venture that this is probably, if not one of the lightest, it is the lightest board on the wake surf lineups.
Yeah, you know, and
it is light, dude.
That just comes down to what Ronex is always doing with their technology and their materials, you know, and all of their high-end skis are built in-house, and they decided with this board they wanted to do the same thing. So built at their barn up in northern Washington with all the highest end materials they can get. This graphic look to it is actually the carbon fiber and fiberglass woven together.
Yeah, that's not like a wrap. That's like for a paint job. That's actually the material that puts it together, right?
Yep, exactly. So ultra lightweight, great shape to it that can kind of perform in any aspect. So if you have somebody that wants a great board but they don't know if they're surf style or skim style, this will actually cater to that type of rider. It can ride both ways. If you want big fins on it, has a really sharp grip to it, can do some big bottom turns, put a small center fin on it, and then it rides more like a skim board because of the ultra thin design and the sharp rail on it. So
you can definitely run less fins with those sharp edges because you have more, you know what I mean? You just use the edge of the board
the
more.
Sharp edge is going to create stability and also creates drive. So when you get on that edge of the board and really start to push it, it's going to pick up speed really quickly. This board was actually in the line last year with the standard M50 series and then the Volcom collaboration on the special edition one. So same shape to it, just new foam core, the carbon weave on the outside, and a little bit different grip setup to it. But
thinner a little bit, of course, a little bit. Doesn't
with the carbon's stronger, so they could go a little bit thinner on the core.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great board, and they kind of speak to it as you know, if you could only have one board, this is a board because it's got versatility to it.
Right, and it's not the cheapest board. I mean, to be real, it's like, you know, but this is for a high-end rider. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what people spend on wake surf boats, right? And if you're into wake surfing, you're gonna, I mean, this one's gonna get you about $1,200, right? It's about $1,200 bucks.
Right,
I mean,
$1,200 with grip, with fins. Some of the companies that offer high-end boards, grips and fins are separate, so you can get up to like $1,400 and $1,500.
Right.
But yeah, just a great board. It comes with a custom surf sock that says home on it. The whole
does it really? It comes with a sock?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and the whole thing was just a tribute to Herb.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Herb was the driving force for so long in the water sports industry, and this was like their next greatest thing, their 50th model that they've come out with, and so just throwing a little bit of tribute back to Herb for all he's done for the water sports industry.
Killer board for sure, man. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So same shape as what they had previously, just a little bit different construction, lighter core, and just all around really fun board.
All right, man. Let's see what else you got going on. You got so much stuff here.
Yeah, for sure. So another new one from the crew over at Ronex is the new Atlantic.
This thing looks awesome.
This obviously concentrates more on the surf style ride, especially being a quad fin.
It's definitely a surfboard. I mean, this is just, I mean, it's totally surfboard all the way.
Yeah, nice and thick, a lot of volume, a lot of buoyancy. If you notice, for a while now in the Ronex line, things have been getting wider here, just to help people that are maybe learning to surf or struggling to keep the push, trying to give them more surface area under the front foot, allows them to kind of stomp on that a little more and not bury the nose. And this really kind of went a different direction. You can see its widest point is back in the rear end of it, and then tapers quite a bit up into the nose. The one thing that I just really noticed about this right away is it wants to go. You know, it's, as you're just hanging in the pocket, the nose is kind of searching, like it wants to go hard, it wants to go fast. So a real easy board to get way back in the wave, create a lot of speed coming up and some big slashes on the wave or airing out of the top of the wave. Really, really fun board.
Yeah.
I've been riding it with 2 fins just because that's typically how I like to ride everything. And the rep kind of got on me. He said, hey, it's a quad fin. Run it with all 4. You will be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's cool, man. I love it.
Still doing that wax mat type of grip to it. Just something real thin.
Yeah, I love it.
Close to the board so you get a lot of feel for it. When you do a thick EVA pad, it gives a lot of cushion there. But that's a separation between your feet and the board.
Right.
And their idea was just let's get our feet as close as we can to the board. It's going to give you a lot more traction and stability.
Yeah.
So some people have been kind of up in there. They don't like it quite as much as they like an EVA foam, but it's a personal preference kind of thing.
You know, one thing I would advise people to, man, I cringe sometimes when I see people have these surfboards and they have them with no socks on them, and it's like 110 out, 115. Dude, if you want to thrash a board, there's no faster way to do it than just have it sitting up on your rack when it's 115, you're just hanging out on the water. Yep. Like these, I mean, if any of these, like I put socks on all my stuff. I mean, these ain't cheap, right? And so like but on these ones specifically, like the surfboards that have the foam and stuff, did you absolutely have to have those covered up?
Yeah, especially in something that's a true epoxy construction.
Yeah.
Because if the foam doesn't cure right before they're wrapped, they will gas out.
Yeah.
And people say, well, I've never seen a ocean surfboard do that. It's like, well, how many oceans is it 110 at?
Right, and they're not just sitting out there baking at 110.
Yeah, even though it's sunny and you can get burnt like crazy, it's 78 to 85 degrees at the most typically. So, the wake surfboards are a very similar construction, but it's best if you can get them out of direct sunlight. That's great. A sock works fine for that, and they'll still fit up in the racks. I really like Ronix made a Bimini Top Bag, which I love that thing because you can put 4 boards in it, carry it around like a suitcase with all your boards and all your fins. So, and then just throw it up on your Bimini when you're on the boat. So that's been really cool.
Sometimes if it's super hot out, I'll even soak the sock in water.
Yeah.
And just throw it on top of it. You know what I mean? And then just, so it's not, especially if you have racks that you can dent, especially these boards, they dent real easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get them super hot and then rinse, you can put a nice ding right in the side. So keep those boards protected if you care about them, and they ain't cheap. So, all right, so let's see what else you got, man. You got such a good lineup here. I was like coming down here, man. See the new stuff.
Some of the stuff is left over from last year, and we obviously clear that stuff out, and that can all be found on the Go to Galey's website, which is our pro shop site. It as far as new stuff goes, we always try and have a good stock of the new. This is the new Volcom Sea Captain. Was an awesome board last year, and just a little bit different graphic for this year. Talking about the M50 Carbon Pro, how it can be a board that if you only had one board, that's a great choice. This is another one that on the opposite end of the spectrum as far as price goes. Very affordable board. This one's right at $650. But you can see similar design in the tail with more of a thruster shape to it throughout the middle.
Yeah.
But just something that we can put a beginner on and they can have a blast, or we can put an advanced rider on and they just rip it apart on this thing.
Another thing too is that this is super durable, dude. Like right here.
Yeah.
And that's something people need to realize. Like if I'm getting into wake surfing, like we just bought a boat, our family bought a boat, and we're gonna get boards. I would definitely think about getting boards that are durable until you learn because you can't just throw these things around, dude. Like some of these boards are seriously like pretty fragile, and then there's some that you can beat the shit out of. I mean, no offense, but there's just some that you can, dude. And so like when you're first starting out, because people don't know how to handle things and they thrash things a little bit, getting a board that can hang out a little bit is probably a good idea.
Yeah, having more of a plastic laminated outer definitely makes them more durable. And we generally see that in all brands. They're lower end stuff. Even if it is a great board like this, it's just not that full fiberglass epoxy construction. It's lightweight, it's buoyant, but it is not durable.
Right.
So generally when people are starting, we like to start them off on something like this. In the Hyperlite line, the Skim has been a fantastic board that's got that Durashell outer to it. So stuff like that is really great for starting people off. And then we generally try and roll them into a true epoxy board, or even a carbon board, depending on which route they want to go as far as feel.
Another thing too, real quick before you put this away, and I know this is just for shipping, but not a bad idea. They sell like, surfboards sometimes have like the nose protectors on here, and so especially like kids, because I mean, you wipe out sometimes, these things can come back. You know what I mean? This is they're charging towards your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and plus you want to save your boat, right? I mean, you ever put someone new on a board? No, I'm serious. You put someone new on a board, and what do they want to do? They want to keep holding onto the rope because they think they can save it. Their body tilts back, and the board shoots forward like a rocket, right?
Absolutely.
And so, like, they sell these nose guards everywhere. I mean, they're super cheap. They're rubber, and they on the pointed boards. In my opinion, it's not a bad idea to think about putting those on if you have new riders riding stuff. You know what I mean? Just to keep your boat safe.
Yeah, you know, on ocean boards, we've seen it for a long time and haven't really seen anybody do that in the wake surf side of things. But yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe we're talking to those guys about making one of these that can actually epoxy to the board.
Yeah.
And keep it on there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
All right, bringing ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm tell you what, this price right here is like one of the best banging deals. I've ridden the Battal, maybe a little bit different version, but dude, you got that one priced crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's wild, dude. For a board, that's like almost half off.
It's last year's stuff, and you know we got to make room for the new stuff. We're in July now, and so 2023 is right around the corner. Yeah. And as much as it's cool to have a huge selection, we would rather have people out riding the boards, than looking at them on the shelves.
That board, by the way, is super fast. Like, you use a lot of brakes because it's just so fast, man. It's got
What's
so much
really
surface
cool
area.
about a Battal is what you just said, the surface area. Massive amounts of surface area. And I know we've talked about it before in some of the videos that as people progress, the goal is smaller board, smaller board, smaller board. How short of a board can we get on and still have enough float? So that was kind of the idea with the Battal is, you know, people that are inexperienced and need a little more flotation, or the heavier riders. We got a lot of big guys, you know, guys coming in 250 to 300 pounds that, hey, I want to wake surf. They don't really make something for guys that size. So this has been a great alternative. This is the ladies graphic, but in the men's, the Battal XL, we've been selling a ton of those to the big guys, and they like the fact that they have a board that will float them, but it's not a 6-foot board.
Right.
You know, it's not like riding the long board behind the wake.
Right.
It's still short, it's maneuverable, but because of the width and the surface area, they get the flotation and buoyancy they need out of it.
Yeah, very cool. There you go, man. If you want a deal, $389, man, that's a good deal. Man, I see some ones over here that I looked at when I first got. I love these black carbon boards. Of course, I have the carbon sprocket, and it's my favorite. One of my, I have 2 boards, and that's one of my favorites. And so, what's this? What do we got going on here?
And this is the Skim series. Carbon Skimmer from Ronix.
Yeah.
This is the ladies version. It's a little teal and purple to it, just to soften it up for the girls. But yeah, just same shape is their Flyweight Skimmer. Yeah. Which is this series here.
Okay.
So the Flyweight Skimmer, kind of similar to the M50 Carbon. It's just something ultra lightweight that's easy to kind of kick around underneath your feet. Yeah. But being more of a traditional epoxy type of setup, the board does have a little bit of flex to it, and a lot of people in the skim world, they want something stiff, you know, something's hard. That the stiffer the board is, typically it can pick up speed a little faster because it's not flexing over the water as much. So Carbon Skimmer, it's been a staple in the line for several years, and just been an all-around great board. Since we're right here and talking about skimmers, this one is new from Hyperlite, Transistor, and this is Noah Fleegle's Pro Model Skimmer. Wow. Noah Fleegle is an absolute animal on anything water sports related, so he's got his custom arc in the Varial Edition boards, and then this is his custom skimmer.
Is that, so it has single fin on that on the bottom?
Yep, just a pintail, single fin, real small fin comes with it. Very loose on the water, that real sharp skim edge, very thin profile to it. So
I like the mat, dude.
Yep. A lot of EVA traction to it. I like the hump they do in the middle here that really kind of cradles.
Yeah, that totally helps, man.
Yep. But yeah, something that's fast, that you know, if you're looking to do a lot of spinning, shove it tricks, that sort of thing, this is definitely the ticket in the Hyperlite line.
Yeah, it looks cool, man. That's definitely cool. So.
And then a couple other things that are new on the Hyperlite side of things. The new Ranger. You can see a lot of volume to the board. Yeah. Very similar actually to the Wingman that
Okay.
they came out with last year.
Yeah.
So if you look at shape, pretty similar shape. This one has a little bit harder rail, not as hard as a skimboard. It's still rounded slightly, but not nearly as round as what we got on the Wingman. So,
Right.
Can get a little more aggressive on the Ranger just because when you dig that edge in, it's going to create drive. And then instead of a 4-fin setup like they did on the Wingman, they went to a 3-fin setup with more of a pintail design. I feel like the pintail design, where it kind of goes into that rounded point, it just allows you to break the back end free a little bit easier.
Some people like looser boards, some people like tighter boards, and definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then Durashell construction to it, so it's not as fragile as maybe the Wingman is.
Kind of cool. Yeah, looks neat. Yeah, very cool, man. Well, I'll tell you what, dude, I always like coming down here. I always like looking at the new boards. It's one of my favorite things to do, and we gotta get in some boats, right? Let's do that.
Yeah, we need to get some boats in. I got some 2023 Supras and Moombas and Nautiques on order. And
what's the boat market like? I mean, is it hard to get boats right now still?
It is hard to get boats. The used market has shifted pretty dramatically already. You know, the last year and the year before, people were selling them for way more than they should have ever got, and that has kind of come back to normal. New boats are still going up in price. You know?
That's crazy.
It's an unfortunate thing that we want to get rid of oil, because everything about boats made with oil.
Yeah.
And if we're not using it in our cars, it's going to make our boats more expensive. So I don't know if we'll ever see pricing come down on new boats, but you know,
at least not while there's a demand.
That's politics, and we shouldn't get too far into that.
You still have a big demand though on new boats?
Yeah, I mean,
slowed down a little bit.
Being summer right now, it's definitely slowed down a little bit, but we are already talking to people about 2023 orders. People that have newer, nice boats that, you know, they said, hey, I didn't do it this year because I couldn't get one. I want one for next year. Yeah. So, and it's, you know, economy is going to do what it's going to do, but if people out there have money and they want to spend it, hopefully we don't crash.
There you go. All right, man. Thanks for showing us all those. I love it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming in.